What if I told you democracy wasn't planned? It was an accident. The birthplace of this revolutionary system, ancient Athens, stumbled into it. Athens, a city initially under the control of tyrants and kings, underwent a radical transformation. How did this happen? How did a city ruled by iron fists give way to a system where citizens held power? Imagine early Athens. Kings ruled with absolute authority, their word was law. Power rested in the hands of a privileged few, an elite class of nobles. The common people had no say in governance. Their lives were dictated by the whims of their rulers. This system, however, was not sustainable. Resentment simmered among the populace, a recipe for inevitable change. Enter Draco, a lawgiver tasked with codifying Athenian law. His solution? Harsh punishments for even minor offences. Draco's laws, known for their severity, were etched in blood, not ink. While intended to quell unrest, they had the opposite effect. The brutality of the law only served to highlight the injustices of the system. The need for change was becoming increasingly evident. Solon, a wise Athenian statesman, recognized the need for reform. In a time of great social and economic disparity, he saw the potential for unrest and conflict. The gap between the wealthy aristocracy and the struggling common people was widening, threatening the stability of Athens. He aimed to appease both the aristocracy and the common people. Solon understood that a balance had to be struck to maintain peace and order. He listened to the grievances of the commoners who were burdened by debt and disenfranchisement, and the concerns of the aristocrats who feared losing their privileged status. His solution was a series of reforms that, while not intending to create democracy, laid the groundwork for it. Solon's laws addressed economic, political and moral issues, aiming to create a more equitable society. He abolished debt slavery, a practice that had trapped many Athenians in a cycle of poverty, and introduced measures to stimulate economic growth. Solon's reforms, implemented in the 6th century BC, restructured Athenian society based on wealth rather than birth. This new system categorized citizens into 4 classes according to their income, allowing for greater social mobility. Wealth, rather than noble lineage, became the key determinant of political power and influence. This seemingly small change had significant consequences. By shifting the basis of social structure, Solon's reforms encouraged a more inclusive political environment. It allowed for a broader participation in governance, setting the stage for future democratic developments. Power, though still concentrated, began to shift slightly away from the traditional elite. The aristocracy no longer held absolute control, and the common people gained a voice in the political arena. This redistribution of power, however modest, was a crucial step towards the democratic principles that would later define Athens. Solon's legacy is a testament to the enduring impact of thoughtful reform. His vision and actions planted the seeds of change that would eventually blossom into the democratic ideals we cherish today. By addressing the needs of both the powerful and the powerless, Solon paved the way for a more balanced and just society. Section 5. Enter Cleisthenes, architect of democracy. Cleisthenes, often hailed as the father of democracy, further chipped away at aristocratic control. Born into a noble family, Cleisthenes was well aware of the power dynamics that favored the elite. However, his vision extended beyond the interests of his own class. He sought to create a more inclusive political system that would empower the common citizens of Athens. He reorganized Athenian society into diams, or geographic districts, which were designed to break the power of the traditional aristocratic families. By doing so, he ensured that political power was more evenly distributed among the citizens, regardless of their lineage or wealth. This reorganization effectively broke the hold of traditional kinship groups which had long dominated Athenian politics. The demes served as the new foundation for political representation, allowing for a more democratic and equitable system. This seemingly administrative change had profound political implications. It not only diluted the influence of the aristocracy, but also encouraged greater participation from ordinary citizens. The demes became the building blocks of the new democratic system, fostering a sense of civic identity and responsibility among the populace. It fostered civic identity beyond traditional power structures. Cleisthenes also introduced ostracism, a radical yet innovative mechanism designed to protect the state from potential tyrants. This process allowed the citizens to vote to exile any individual who posed a threat to the democracy, thereby preventing the rise of autocratic rulers. Ostracism was a mechanism to exile individuals deemed a threat to the state. Each year, the citizens could write the name of a person they believed to be dangerous on a piece of pottery. If a sufficient number of votes were cast against an individual, they would be exiled for 10 years. This measure, while controversial, demonstrated a commitment to safeguarding the fledgling democracy from tyranny. Cleisthenes' reforms laid the groundwork for what would become one of the most celebrated political systems in history. His vision and actions were instrumental in shaping the democratic principles that continue to influence modern governance. Section 6. Power to the people. The assembly and citizen participation. Athenian democracy was not a sudden revolution, but rather an evolution. At its heart was the assembly, open to all male citizens. This body held immense power, debating and voting on laws, declaring war, and deciding financial matters. Participation in the assembly was both a right and a duty, fostering a sense of collective responsibility among citizens. Section 7. The Athenian paradox, freedom and exclusion. Athenian democracy, for all its advancements, was far from perfect. It was a democracy of exclusion. Women, slaves and foreigners were denied citizenship and its associated rights. This fundamental flaw reminds us that the march towards a truly inclusive democracy is an ongoing process. Even societies celebrated for their freedoms can harbour deep-seated inequalities. Section 8. A lasting legacy, from ancient Athens to modern democracies. Despite its limitations, Athenian democracy stands as a pivotal moment in human history. It provided a model for future societies striving for self-governance. The echoes of Athenian democracy can be seen in the institutions and values of many modern democracies. Concepts like popular sovereignty, civic participation and the rule of law have roots in this ancient Greek system. Section 9. Echoes of Athens, the unintended consequences of political systems. The story of Athenian democracy reminds us that political systems are not static. They evolve over time, influenced by a myriad of factors, some of which are beyond the control of their architects. They are shaped by a confluence of factors, both intentional and accidental. The decisions made by leaders, the actions of citizens, and even unforeseen events all play a role in shaping the political landscape. Just as Athenian democracy emerged from a series of unplanned events, it was a product of both deliberate reforms and spontaneous reactions to crises. The interplay of these elements created a system that was dynamic and adaptable. Many aspects of our modern systems might also be the result of unintended consequences. The policies and structures we see today are often the result of historical contingencies rather than carefully planned designs. This realization should prompt us to critically examine our own political structures and consider their evolution. By understanding the historical context and the factors that have shaped our systems, we can better appreciate their complexities and potential vulnerabilities. It is crucial to recognize that political systems are living entities, constantly evolving and adapting to new challenges. The lessons from ancient Athens remind us that vigilance and adaptability are key to maintaining a healthy political environment. As we navigate the complexities of our own political landscapes, we must remain aware of the unintended consequences that can arise from our actions. By fostering open dialogue and encouraging civic engagement, we can work towards creating more resilient and responsive political systems. In an era of rapid technological advancement and global interconnectedness, the stakes are higher than ever. Our political systems must be flexible enough to adapt to these changes while remaining grounded in the principles of democracy and justice. Ultimately, the story of Athenian democracy serves as a powerful reminder that the evolution of political systems is an ongoing process. By learning from the past and staying vigilant in the present, we can shape a future that reflects our highest ideals and aspirations. Section 10. The accidental future. Are our systems truly by design? As we navigate the complexities of our modern world, it's worth pondering. How many of our systems are truly by design, and how many are the products of unforeseen circumstances? The Athenian experience serves as a powerful reminder that change often emerges from unexpected quarters. It is in these moments of unplanned evolution that we discover the true potential for innovation and progress.